Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. With us today, Kimberly Meredith out of the LA area. What an incredible background here. She's author of Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, a new book in 2021, just around when the pandemic was hitting. It's Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, Discovering the Soul's Path, published by St. Martin's, done by Hay House in the UK, and also audio-wise by Penguin. She's a celebrity medical intuitive medium, also a healer. There's a difference. She'll tell us about that later. She's also an influencer, and she's got a medical background. It means on Hollywood filming sets, she would be there. She's worked in a hospital and so on. But it was a near-death experience probably 10-ish years ago that happened that helped her unlock her abilities. And again, we're going to hear about that, that helped her help others unlock their own skills and so on. But she's helped a lot of folks. She's done a lot. I'm going to let her speak. I'm super grateful for her being on the show. And I want to thank Alan Steinfeld if he's watching. He did the introductions and was kind enough to hook us up together. Kimberly, welcome to Angels, Positivity, and Love.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. Super excited about being here today, sharing.
Well, there's a lot on your plate. There's been a lot on your plate. You're doing a lot. You've done a lot of expos. You've been the keynote speaker. Your schedule ahead is going to be busy. I think you're at Omega Institute September 10th through the 15th, if I got that right. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world, how you help people, just how you explain what you do.
Yeah, so I have the ability to rapidly go through people's bodies. I am what you call a medical intuitive medium psychic. And this is not something I just do a few times a week. I do this every day. And I have an office I work out of in Encino. So I see clients in person and I do it over Zoom and I teach classes. And it's something that is a specific skill that I guess, this is a gift that I'm blessed and honored to have, where not only do I find the root cause of why somebody has a specific injury or illness, but I also am a gifted psychic, intuitive, medical, extensive preventative guide, where say somebody may have a carotid artery or need mitral valve surgery or have a brain tumor and you don't know you have it. So say you're in an audience like the New Living Expo I was just at, or you're in a Zoom room, an event, and they call me up to do my talk and I see you in the room. And so this happened recently and somebody wants to be picked and I'm doing a reading on them and I say, oh, you've had a knee injury or you've had your gallbladder taken out. But then maybe I hear there's something wrong with the heart. And so say maybe the person will say, no, nothing's wrong with my heart. Nothing's wrong with my heart. But I hear heart. So for an example, this happened recently. Her husband is a skeptic and he kept saying, no, nothing's wrong with my wife's heart. And they kept saying in front of like a room of 100 people, nothing's wrong with her heart. But everything else they knew. She had Hashimoto's, the knee was wrong. But I'm hearing with all my guides that work with me, there was something wrong with her heart. And this is what goes on in a lot of my practice. So later on, when I was home, I get an email from the couple and they said, we need to do a session with you. We have something to tell you. They came on to the call and I was like, what's going on? She's sitting in the hospital bed and he comes on and he's in tears and he says, thank you. And I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, this is bizarre. And she's laying there in tears. She said, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned after I saw you. I kept hearing heart. We made an appointment with a cardiologist. I did not pass my stress test. Within 1 hour after the stress test, I was in emergency surgery for a triple bypass. The doctor asked, what made you get here? She goes, I was in a class with this medical psychic medium that kept saying heart, and I had no symptoms. he said, well, you better call her and thank her because she saved your life.
Oh my goodness. And
So this is the things that kind of go on with people that are not paying. It's not paying kind of like the clues. Later on, we had another session. She said, there were clues happening, but I didn't want to listen. And the other thing that God gifted me, and I did know when I was a baby that I had these gifts, and we can talk about that a little bit later, that I pushed aside until I had my near-death experience. And as I keep growing with these gifts, many people come into the office and they're on medications, they're doing, and I do work with the medical community. I work with Western medicine. A lot of doctors use me. They'll say, go to Kimberly, for different things. I find out a lot of times many things are connected to other things. That's how this book started to come about. And I channeled the book, is that everything is connected to each other, meaning emotional and physical is connected. So what we eat, what we drink, and so on and so forth.
I wanted to mention two quick things back to the beginning before we follow up right there, because I want to ask about the LA doctors in a second. The healingtrilogy.com is your website. And then also, you've been tested. Now, I know I think it was guest episode 2, Amy Stark's also been tested where, I think that was more of an Arizona institute, but for you, it's Norm Shealy, Dr. Norm Shealy, but also IONS, Institute of Molecular Sciences. And I know they put you through the hoops, and it's a lot of testing. It's a lot of scientific validation and so on. So you pass that with flying colors. I remember Amy describing being asked to change the pH of water and then change it back. So there's a lot of scientific prove it or rigorous examination and so on. You've actually done all that. Back to LA. Oh, go ahead.
3 places. Yes, thank you, Michael, for bringing that up. When I first became a medical intuitive, which I didn't even know what a medical intuitive was, this whole thing was so magical how it all happened to me. I remember when somebody said, do you know you're a medical intuitive? I said, well, what's a medical intuitive? Anyway, once I was discovered, the first place was SciTech up in Orange County. That was the first place I was tested at. And that's when I was laying on hands with my hands. The medical intuitive abilities was me finding everything in people's bodies, and then they were testing me with my hand healings.
But even through a wall, right?
That was Norm Shealy. I first was tested at SciTech. Yes, you're right. Even through a wall.
They really put you through. I mean, I'm not kidding. And when we think of it this way, think about human beings and how skeptical we can be. It doesn't have to be any of this stuff. It could just be like, is my football team going to win today? I mean, we can be so up here and so doubting about anything. So I'm sure you've got rigorous analysis.
Yes. First with SciTech, they tested me double blind through machines like MRI machines, and then I went to Dr. Shealy, and then after that he did 17 patients where every single patient in Missouri I had to do, where they come in, they write out every single ailment and injury in their body, and then I go into a room with them. He keeps the files, and then they have me go through, his associates watch me go through every single patient, call out everything that's wrong with them. Not only did I know everything that was wrong with them, I knew everything that they had since they were 2 years old, and then that they don't, then beyond that they were going to get. And then they watched me with a filmmaker dissolve nodes off people's bodies. I'm very well known for specific kinds of diseases that my guides like to go after. So some things my guides are progressively more advanced at releasing. So do you want me to say what they are?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, this is fascinating. And do you mind just backing up though? Define a node for those in the audience like myself that are like, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So in the back of the book, there's the appendices, and we talk about like Amy's illness and Ron's and Janet. They had specific things we documented, and they were that's good that you're talking about this, because certain diseases are in here that the guides like to go for more, which is cancer
Okay.
and lymph nodes.
Oh, okay. Got it. So like here
Yeah.
or yeah.
Yeah. And so my guides, I'm getting chills right now. So I'm like, I like kind of a little bit like a puppy dog. So like certain dogs like smell cancer, and I'm one of those people.
That
Maybe I'm
makes
a
sense.
reincarnated puppy dog. So anyway, long story short, if I feel a lymph node, I go at the node, and so me and Dr. Shealy were starting to pray, and then the node just disappears. So vanishes off, gone. So that's what was happening up at when we were doing the research up at Shealy's. And that was the
is there a new area at all in the last year or 6 months you've picked up for medical stuff? Like, I'm going to be facetious here, but like twisted ankles, or is there a new area that you're like, absolutely lately I've been picking up on this and I've been helping
everything. I
everything?
always pick
Okay.
up on every single thing. But as far as progressively surgically hands-on healing, everything we do, everything. But up there, when we were testing back a few years ago, the nodes were dissolving off like insanely. Then I went to Ions Institute in Petaluma after that, and we were doing lots of testing, like you said, on the water. And, so anyway, it was very interesting, all the testing that was going on.
Were they nice and were they polite to you?
Yeah, everybody was super cool. I think the testing up at Ions was interesting because it's always sort of interesting because whatever test that I am doing, the guides are always way ahead. Even with the clients that I work with now, the clients that come to me, we always find it so interesting because my guides I was like this though when I was a baby. Even when my dad passed very young, but my dad would do telepathic tests with me when I was 5 and 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
So when I do sessions with clients, they'll say, I didn't ask that yet, Kimberly. And I'm always ahead of what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And we always know what is going to be the outcome before they've asked. So when I was at Ions, they were like, we didn't ask you that. And I was like, but I already know that. And they're like, okay, you can go to lunch break now. I'm like,
So
but
I can just sit here for the next 10 seconds in silence and we're all set. You already know what's coming next. Okay.
no, but that's why I love being with you, because the guys, the angels and the guys, they love you because you're advanced.
Hey, the one time they said the world will play catch up, and I get more no's. You'd be surprised. If I get invited to a conference, I have to wait until everything's booked to know that I'm going to the conference, because I can still get uninvited from a conference. People have a hard time allowing for it even after the fact, so that they get not jittery, but just it's easier to dismiss me even if you've done the stuff than it is to really allow for it, because it challenges your level of thinking. And then none of this is about thinking. Why don't you tackle that for us to remind us all that it's not about thinking and how big we are when we're here. You'll have less illness and you'll have a smoother path in life. But how do you describe all what goes on up here and what goes on when you're here? Because I know that's it should be one of the cores of all of this.
You are so correct. It's all about letting it all go and not being in your head and being in your heart. And once that is the fifth dimension, that's why the guides wanted me to write about the awakening of the fifth dimension. And the reason why this is the title is nothing to do with Kimberly. The publishers came out to see me live. Now, I know you're going to laugh. They came out to see me live. I flew to New York. I met them. I went into the publishing office and I did a reading on them. And then they said, well, we got to see her in person. So they flew to LA. They sat in the audience and they saw me do readings on people and dissolve things off people's necks. And they went, and then
That's good.
This is the fifth dimension. Now there's many dimensions. There's the third dimension, there's the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, there's 12 dimensions and beyond. But my guide said, we need to at least get into the fifth dimension. And that's what I say to people. So when I say, do you want this energy off your body? And they'll say, yes. I'll say, you have to be in the fifth dimension at least. And they'll say, well, how do I get in there? Say you're in the fifth dimension. It's that easy.
Oh,
So
okay.
they say, I'm in the fifth dimension. And little kids love it. They're like, I'm in the fifth dimension. It's like I'm in a Harry Potter movie. So just say that you're in the fifth dimension. And they'll be like, people are like, that's too easy. It can't be that easy. Yes, it is. It's that easy. So they'll say, I'm in the fifth dimension. And then people will say that, and then they'll go into this energy of being with the angels, being with the guides. They'll start to breathe. They'll say, I am love, I am light, I'm divinely protected. Once they get into that energy field, once they start believing that, maybe they'll hold a crystal, something they're breathing, I'll put my hands on them, or they'll take their hands, they'll start to do this energy. It leaves, it vanishes off.
So is it okay to say the fifth dimension is where all intersects all? When you're here, or just out of here, you're this and inside, and it's all
Yeah,
intersecting all?
it's a practice. Yes, it's an omnipresent portal. Once you experience it, you never forget it. So if you have something on you and you ask it to leave and say, out of my body, out of the room, out of the universe, and it dismisses off you, once you've had that experience, you never forget it. You know how to get into that portal, and it's miraculous.
Now,
So
isn't some
yeah.
of our medical stuff meant to just slow our roll so that we pay attention to life and get back on track to get to here? Isn't some of it very helpful for us, even if I know it doesn't sound helpful?
Yes, and you're correct. And also it's emotional. It's an emotional attack causing disease. And then once it leaves you, say the disease, it's also to teach us how to emotionally change our patterns in our lives. So symbolically, it's connected to symbols and signs. So I also do, through my psychic mediumship, I figure out what soul frequency you are, what soul frequency your life is, and how you need to develop a new pattern. So the fifth dimension also is a pathway to a new lifestyle. Can't just be you're healed and I'm going to walk away. I've experienced this miraculous healing. I need to now change my lifestyle too.
Talk to us a little bit more about the dimensions, just from pretend my grandmother, my aunt, and some others are over here that need basic explanation. Third dimension I've heard of, fourth, fifth dimension I've heard of, but do you have a simple way to use some metaphors? Is third dimension pen and paper, physical objects, the way we relate to stuff? How do you explain this?
The third dimension, yes. Okay. The third dimension is this feeling very dense. It's kind of a low vibe. And also, it's not just kind of, it is a low vibrational feeling. It is that kind of what we're living in right now. And we are experiencing a very third dimensional frequency in the world because there's a lot of fear, worry. We're just living in a world that's very third dimensional right now, but it is shifting into more fourth dimension, which fourth dimension is more of nature. It's like going for a walk out and a hike, fourth dimensional spirituality. We're trying to make the world more fourth dimensional right now. It's kind of emerging into that. But of course, we still have to go into these grocery stores. Now, when I go into a grocery store, I bring my camera in there. I do these little videos. I try to show people this is a third dimensional grocery store with the LED lights, with our food in plastic. If we were to change to an example of a third dimensional grocery store and make it more fourth dimensional, it would be more organic foods like a farmer's market. So a farmer's market grocery store would be all organic food. There wouldn't be any processed food. That would be more fourth dimensional groceries. If we had so Whole Foods is not really a spiritual grocery store. That's
Now, we're not sponsored by Whole Foods. You're not sponsored by Whole Foods. We still love Whole Foods. I buy my sage
No, I love
from
Whole Foods. They're pretending it's fourth dimensional, but even in my book, we talk about that there's processed foods in certain grocery stores. We're not going to say Whole Foods, but certain grocery stores are third dimensional still, because there's soy in there. There's hormonal, there's foods that are processed in certain grocery stores. To have a fourth dimensional grocery store, we want to have, and we are doing that. There's Rewild or Oceana. There are stores that we want to make sure that are 100% organic, and there will be 100% organic stores in the future. In the next 10 years, I'm an activist. We're looking for 100% organic stores, so we don't just have to go out to farmers markets. Now, the fifth dimension is where the world is going to, because we have to survive in the next 10 years so we can live and be happy. So there's no more cancers, there's no more disease, there's no more brain, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Why are the guides talking about this? Why are they on a mission? Like that movie with Belushi, we are on a mission from God.
Yeah. The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers.
Yeah. I think someone else, I just had another guest in the last 2 shows taped, so this is going to be in August or July, who mentioned the Blues Brothers, and that's one of their favorite expressions.
Yeah.
Somebody else just said that.
My God. Yeah, and he just got, I feel like he was like so happy you corrected me. Yeah, I just heard the line, but I didn't get the movie right.
Well, I was working on it too, because I'm like, hey, somebody just said that on the show. So the audience is going to know this, and I will find that person. Maybe you are meant to be on the same panel. Yeah. So audience, look out for Kimberly Meredith, the Healing Trilogy, if I got that right. Yes, .com. And Awakening to the Fifth Dimension is her book. You can get that on Amazon right now. I'll have the link on her video details.
Yeah, because all of this, these diseases and stuff are coming from processed foods and chemicals. And so this is what I talk about, all these things that we need to make sure that we're looking out for. Many clients, Michael, that come into me are so precious, so genuine, so beautiful. And there's so many things out there that people get mixed up with different vitamins and supplements and food. And this is what I do. I go through all of that with them and make sure they're on the right track.
Now, is vitamin C okay, and B12?
It's excellent. Vitamin Bs and Bs are the best thing for your brain, but the right brand is important. That you don't take something that's got fillers.
Okay, yeah, no fillers.
So I go through all of that. And in my book, I have all kinds of diet plans that are really important for people, because a lot of people get hung up on just organic, only plant-based, meat, can't eat eggs, and all that type of stuff. So it's very gentle and kind, different types of diet plans.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, tell us some more, because you're on a roll here, and this is fascinating. What was your original set of first challenges? Was it just getting out of your own way and allowing this to unfold, or was it some doubt on some certain fronts? How did you deal with it at the beginning? And then as you go up the curve and time progresses and you get broader experiences, either events, those conscious living expos, Conscious Life Expo in LA, you're the keynote speaker, or just the next book you're working on. It's in a way, for some of us, if you're human, and we're still going to play that role, you shed one set of problems, you get a new set of opportunities or challenges for additional growth, because the growth opportunities don't stop. But talk to us about the beginning. How were you in your own way, no matter how much stuff was happening? Were you still doubting it? Were you like, what the heck?
I just adore you. Okay. The guys just really love you. Okay. So after I got my second near-death experience, I was in a wheelchair for over 1.5 years, and I got discovered from my home by the producer of What's the Bleep, and then another person from The Secret, and we'll just backtrack a little bit. And I was doing 150 people from my living room found out were coming in, and I was doing sessions. Word got out in Los Angeles that I was this medical intuitive. My fiance did not like it. He was a normal person. He was not, he did not understand. So he moved out. I was on disability. I wasn't charging anybody any money. And a producer found out about me, and she flew me to Maryland. It was the first thing I ever did in Maryland. And then I got discovered at the expos. And at one of the expos, this is how it all blew out. I did a hands-on healing with one of the main producers there. She had a breast lump tumor on her breast, and I dissolved it in 2.5 minutes.
Wow.
She got up at the expo and she proclaimed her healing. Part of you being healed is proclaiming it. If you don't proclaim your healing, then how is it going to stay? So you live in gratitude.
The healing part, how is it going to stay with you if you don't own it, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
here's the reason why my healing has stayed. What does Kimberly Meredith do? I talk about it. I proclaim it. I praise it every day. I thank God that I'm alive. No matter what, even if I'm having a hard day, I still get up and I say, thank you, God. I'm grateful for you, God. Praise you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I get up and I go to the office and I help people, and I stay on Zoom and I keep going and I keep helping and helping. So this particular woman, who is the executive producer helper of the LA Conscious Expo, she keeps going and telling people how much she's praising the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit is what I was about to say, because that's also part of your daily, and I don't like to say it this way, but I don't know how else to say it. Part of your daily language, part of your daily lingo, part of your thanks, your praise, your gratitude, acknowledgement.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And it's funny because people think I'm really, really very, very Catholic. And actually, I was raised Jewish.
Ah, there you go.
But my mom is Italian Catholic. My father is Jewish. So I love everybody. And I'm actually very much practicing Buddhist.
Oh.
So yeah, so I love everything, but I actually have a class that we do once a month. We say the rosary. So there you go. So and my dad actually really loved the Native Americans. We always worshipped Sitting Bull, and I'm very open to everything. So make a long story short, after that whole expo experience, I met Alan Steinfeld. He saw me in the room, first time out, 2017. I was laying hands on people, channeling the angels. My eyes were fluttering, and he was witnessing me laying hands, and he brought me to New York. And then when I went to New York, miracles, unbelievable miracles were happening. My first big event in New York City with Alan Steinfeld. So thank you, Alan Steinfeld. Thank you, Alan Steinfeld, over and over again. He was there, and we had hundreds of people in New York. I say there was probably over 700 people at St. Andrew's Church. And in New York, I was so scared. I was so frightened. I have to tell you what happened. He stood up, he said, Kimberly Meredith is going to channel the Holy Spirit. They all stood at me like I was crazy. They were like, I was in New York City. And I said, he goes, she's going to pick the worst person right now. And my eyes were fluttering. The angels came in. I saw them above, I saw so many angels above my head. 700 people at St. Andrew's Church, and they were tough New Yorkers. And I was just so scared. And I was like, back then I was maybe 110 pounds. And I walked out, and there was this little man sitting in front, and my guide said, he has prostate cancer. He has prostate cancer. And I heard, go heal him now. And it was the Holy Spirit. And I started crying. And I looked at Alan, and Alan goes, go. And I walked over and I said, come over to the table. And I took him, and he could barely walk. He was like this. And he walked over, and we got him up on the table, and he lay down. and I had the microphone and I go, right eye, left eye, right eye, left eye, my eyes blinking. And then I went over there and I remember everyone in the room, because I felt like they were going to trample me and kick me out to say, you are a fraud. This is heavy duty New Yorkers.
Hey, I
Oh
was
my,
there for 18 years. I know exactly what you're talking about, but can we go on a quick tangent where I know Manhattan and stuff, but remind me where St. Andrew's Church is.
like downtown, like ghetto area. I don't remember, but I
Okay.
was scared. I was like, oh my God. So I was going across them and I said, they're telling me that you have prostate cancer. And he was very old. He goes, I do. And everyone was like,
It's,
anyway.
yeah.
And then I started saying, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. And then I started speaking in Hebrew. I said, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech. And then everybody was putting their hands up. And then the front row was going, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And then everybody was going, oh.
And did
And
the
then,
whoosh in the room get higher and bigger?
yeah, but then guess what happened? I went back and passed out.
Oh boy.
I completely passed out. Yeah. I just went, boom. Yeah. It was insane.
Bucket
And
of water next time and a change of clothes real fast.
I'll never forget that event. Anyway, there's pictures of it on my website. If you go in the gallery,
Yep.
you'll see pictures of it. Yeah.
So I know you're still shy, is fair to say. It's not that, like, to me, you're not shy at all, but only because I can tell there's little moments where you're conscious of what could happen when you connect. You're circumspect about it. You're respectful about it. I don't know how else to say it. Plus, there's some people whose elbows are out and they're just like, bam, you know, an arrow into the bullseye. Now you're an arrow into the bullseye, but I know you're still, you don't mind waiting or circling first, and then you check for landing, air traffic control, and then bam. So today though, you're not nervous anymore. Now you've got all the room for maneuver today. There's no big deal. It's taped. People are going to be watching this in 2027. By then reading your third book, because you're working on your second. You'll tell us about what you can tell about your second in a second. But talk to us more about, and not to put any focus there, I'm not encouraging you to go back to doubt, fear, worry, but the human side of you at the beginning, 10, 11, 9, 8, 7, 6 years ago. Give me a couple moments where you used to be more hesitant. It took you longer to get started or to do what you do. And then when did you shed that? What did you learn about that? I mean, we all go through it. The artist, the musician, the cook, the yoga instructor, the business person. Talk to us about some of the typical and that we all get to experience. And then how did you get past it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You know what? I have to tell you, I was shy before the near-death experience. I think you're right. You're right. I am shy when I'm not on stage or in the office working. I am very introverted. When I'm on stage doing the work, I'm fearless because they're working through me, the guides. It's their mission. It's not Kimberly. I'm being, it's their work. So I don't have any attachment to it. So people will often say, it's very good. A very good example is this. When I'm getting ready to go to do my work, like even at the New Living Expo recently, I have assistants that go and they'll say to the assistants, are you Kimberly? They'll say, no, that's her. They'll say, oh, I thought you were her, because they're more outgoing. They're on the set. They're setting it up. When I come on, I'm very entertaining on stage. I'm very aggressive. I'm like, not aggressive, but I'm a speaker. I'm doing it. But when I'm there, no one would ever know it was me because I'm sitting off stage. I'm quiet. You're right. They would never know it was Kimberly Meredith there.
Powered down?
Quiet, hidden, not not making friends. I'm not sociable. Yeah,
But then flip that switch and bam.
because it's them coming in and saying you have to do what we're telling you to do. Yeah. So it's actually, Michael, it's very it's a gift that I even made it this far, being this shy,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
I've gotten. It's the Holy Spirit made it
But
happen, because
But anytime you need a little bit of humor and a little reminder that you're on the right track and you're doing good and you do great and you are love, then all you have to do is ask. You're going to get the reminder from your crew, angels, your dad. Everyone's going to kind of be like, hey, kick you in the butt a
so,
little and get you moving again.
yeah. So for people out there that have gifts, like if people are listening to this that are there, that I have clients that come to me that are star seeds, that are crystals, that are so gifted, that are introverted like I am, that are shy, that come to my classes and see me up on stage talking and doing my work, and that are mediums. Um, there are ways for you to get your work out there. There are people that will help you. There are people that are publicists. There are people that are able to help people that are like me,
Wow.
that are the Allens out there, that are the people that scout people out like me. And you don't have to be the social butterfly. You don't have to go to all the parties. I'm not one of them. I don't go to the parties. I don't have to go do all that stuff.
I didn't even know there were parties, but if you're in LA or New York City, I get it. I haven't been a part of that crowd for like 15 years now. So I need to ask you about this though. What were the challenges back when you started versus recently? Because it's kind of a never ending story. Our thinking isn't ever going to completely go away. So is there a new set of obstacles, a new set of challenges, a new set of reminders? How about that? That's gentler. That before you go to do the next big, I don't know, you have to do a tour, you have to go do an event in another city. Is there still something that you have to remind yourself about to get it out of the way so you can just flow easier in the whole experience?
I love that. That's very good. So at every point of my evolvement with my work, you mean like my next book coming out or whatever I'm working on? I think for anybody, I feel like when you're in the fifth dimension, um, and I'm not going ahead right now, I'm not talking about other dimensions, just the fifth dimension right now.
Yeah.
I feel like um when you learn to be in this fifth dimensional energy, and I hope that people get to pick up the book, I feel like just sitting in your chair and understanding that miracles can come to you, and your angels are here for you, and your guides are here for you. And it's letting yourself be of service for others is so important. And when you're of service for others and you're thankful to God and you're grateful to God, then things really start to be a give and take situation. So you're giving to God, you're grateful to God, you're grateful, and you're helping other people, and it's constantly coming back to you. So it's not like, oh, I need another book deal. Oh, I want another book deal. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. It's never a want. It's always you're serving and then you're receiving. And the universe is loving this energy of this give and take and this helpful energy field. And as you're so loving and caring of the angels and the guides, they're loving and helping you. And it's this give and take energy feel, and you can feel it. And it's so amazing. It's really so, I can't even, it's so breathtaking. It's so loving.
Everything's unfolding just as it should. The more you trust, the more you allow, the more you get out of this, the more you're, if you're from like New York, a big city, you've got a business past, you're going to be a little more like demanding, schedule oriented. You're like, hey, why didn't that happen last 2 Junes ago?
Exactly.
And so, I mean, that's me in a way. I mean, in a way, I look at the last 12 years. I said this morning to myself out loud. Um, I was like, hey, I could probably get everything done in the last 12 years if I was just doing public relations, not talking about angels, light beings, your relatives, loved ones passed over the other side. I mean, maybe not in 6 months, but 2 years of hard work. And it's not about the hard work. It's not
Exactly.
about trying. It's not about being up here. There's something bigger than us that when you allow for it, it's just pure love. And it's always been with us. And we forget everything and we think it's the working hard and the trying. And that's why illness sneaks in
Yes. Yes.
because
And
of
here's the
judgment thinking.
yeah, you're totally correct. Here's the other thing, Michael. I don't know if this has come up for you in your practice because I know you're an amazing mentor. So many clients of mine are getting divorced, people in general right now, because their soul frequency is not in the same frequency as their partner. They're at a 3 dimension, they're at a 4th dimension. People are reading books like mine. I'm not the only one that writes about the 5th dimension. There are other people writing about 5D. I'm a mentor also. I have a mentorship program. I do spiritual counseling also. And when they come into me, they'll say, I don't feel like I'm connecting with my partner anymore. And when I do my mediumship, I'll say, I know why. You're in this dimension frequency, they're in this dimension frequency. Your work is a different dimension frequency. Oh my God, I don't feel, they'll say, yeah, I don't feel comfortable at my job right now. So we're rapidly shifting right now. And as we shift even faster in the next few years, people are going to start even feeling more uncomfortable. Now, can your partner start to work on their spirituality and move their frequency? And you guys can work it out. Of course, the Holy Spirit doesn't want people divorcing, but sometimes I get chills. It's not good to stay together if you have children, you're fighting all the time. If you're calling each other bad, naughty names, that's not good either. So, spirit and guides want people to understand you're not bad if you do break up because you want life is short. You want to be happy and you don't want to get disease. People get diseases and get sick, cancer, neurological disorders because you're in the wrong frequencies. We have to be in the right frequency so we can survive in this world and have our universe stay healthy. Namaste.
And not everything is from a human perspective. We like the word forever. We think it's one and done if we sign a contract or we get married or anything. And sometimes it's only certain things. Forget about relationships for a second, but some stuff is only meant to be for a certain amount of time because your growth is meant to go in another direction altogether. And near-death experience people go through this all the time. I think Michelle Claire, episode 9 of Angels, Positivity, and Love, 3 near-death experiences talked about it. But you know, when you come back from your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 19th near-death experience, you're not the same person. And maybe that partner, you know, you're meant to do this.
Yeah. Mine left. I believe that we are infinite soul consciousness. And in the infinity soul, we don't really believe that there's one soulmate. There's a soul tribe. There's many soulmates. And we believe that our purpose here is a mission to help move each other forward and have happiness. We don't believe our souls are here to suffer. We believe we're here to laugh, have joy, spread light, and serve each other and have a great life here in this consciousness.
And now I would ring a bell, but I left it in the office. And that was channeling, if I'm correct. You were just channeling.
Yes, I want to read my
I'm calling it out only because I could tell you're talking differently and you used we, and it felt like a different vibe in a nicer, in a broader way. There we go. But yes, Reed, you had selected a passage for today, and this is out of Awakening to the 5th Dimension, Discovering the Soul's Path to Healing. Again, St. Martin's Press put it out, but Hay House carries it in the UK if you want to get it in paperback form, 2021, and also Penguin's doing the audio version of it. But anyone can hit Amazon and do Kimberly Meredith, Awakening to the 5th Dimension, and find that exact book. And again, it's recommended. Pick it up. It's sort of like Eckhart Tolle, or what's some of the other books where it's the vibe? I'm going to plug my own book, Listening to Angels. I didn't write it. It's a short little 15-minute read, but I saw Balls of Light, and it's angel writing. So if you're in a bad mood, there's no way your body, your brain is going to let you touch it. And then there's other people who are like, oh my God, it felt so good to read it. I read it on an every other day basis, and it's so short, it's ridiculous. And sorry for the self advertisement there, but go ahead. What do we have for us here?
I love your book. You just make me so happy. I just giggle when I'm around you. It's so funny. Okay. I was going to read this other one, but I was going to read The Angels in the Fifth Dimension, but I opened up just, this is how I am. I'm very free flowing. So I feel like I want to read the Fifth Dimensional Miracle Prayer.
Ooh,
So
perfect.
now I switched over to this. Okay. So I'm going to read the Fifth Dimensional Miracle Prayer. I like when you put the light up. It reminds me of we're at a rock concert. Okay. So we're going to rock and roll this one. I'm going to put my hand over my heart chakra and I'm going to read this channeled prayer. I'm fully, freely, and willingly accepting a miracle today and the awakening of the fifth dimension. I know and trust that by fully being in the fifth dimension, I am willingly accepting a miracle today. My heart is open and ready to receive love and intimacy of God consciousness. When fully trusting God in the fifth dimension, I can hear and feel and have a shift, and everything in my life is easy and abundant. Through the divine, my gifts are fully awakened today in the fifth dimension. Through the divine, my gifts are fully awakened, and I am accepting them in the fifth dimension. I am healed in the fifth dimension, and I feel amazing in the fifth dimension. I love being in the fifth dimension. We feel peace, love, and joy and light when we are in the fifth dimension. I'm trusting that the negative third dimension is leaving me now. Let's take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. I'm trusting the negative third dimensional mind chatter is quickly leaving me, and the fifth dimension is receiving through my mind now. My mind is automatically focused on the present moment with no effort required. My mind is simply a state of being. I automatically live in the fifth dimension. My heart is open in the fifth dimension. I accept all people. I love all people. I'm a child of God. Namaste.
Beautiful. And can we say the heart is the fifth dimension and more? When you're here, it's the connection to all, and it's the I think it was Seth, the new age figure, 70s Jane Roberts, and you can meet Seth, the light being, but it's the entryway, the portal, the whatever you want to call it, the path through the world that you knew into a broader reality, dimension, whatever you want to call it. And that's where everything is to be found that you think is of import.
Yeah. Do you like this line? I feel safe in the angelic realm. I know that time is easier in the fifth dimension. I'm accepting my archangels and the changes I will face in the fifth dimension with grace. I'm ready for love, peace, and abundance that I deserve. In all of the spiritual guidance of the Holy Divine in the fifth dimension, I have more access through my spirit guides. My angels are awakening my abilities more every day.
I love it. Okay, so when did you work on that book? Was it 2020, 2021? It took a year, it took 3 months to write. How long? You were channeling the book, right?
I started channeling the book. I was told to start writing the book in my wheelchair from a recorder, probably 2017. Many years, about three or 4 years. Parts of it from the wheelchair. And then in 2019, I was on KCA radio. My rate, I still have it. We're on Blog Talk now. And you'll have to come on sometime.
Oh, I'd love to. And this is the Medical Intuitive Miracle Show, which I forgot to mention in the intro. So you're a host of that. You have guests on, but oftentimes you speak directly to us. And it's a lot of channeling too, is it not?
It is. And I take call-ins. And we are pretty packed. We have a lot of calls. It's really fun. And I was on air one night and I had a call that called in, and I knew she had breast cancer. And a publicist heard the call that worked for a charity of breast cancer charity. And she knew my agent, and she told the agent about me. And then he called and said, "Do you have a book?" And I said, "It's in my recorder." He said, "Well, get it on paper and send it to me."
Cool. Very cool. And how do I do this? How much of your own path have you been shown as what's written? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of flexibility, and you could be told 1 year it's going to happen in this year, and then that shifts because everything shifts all the time, multiple timelines. But have you been shown a lot, a little? You try to stay out of your own unfolding, or have you been shown the whole kit and caboodle, and yet you still try to forget? It doesn't help to know anything in the future. Let me back up. Where have you been on this whole thing? Are there times you're shown the whole thing and then you forget about it?
Great question. And I love
And
doing.
don't share too much. I mean, whatever you're comfortable. You're
Yeah,
talking to the public here, so
they have showed me my path for the next 10 years. And after that, they don't tell me anymore. I don't know how long I'll be living.
but I mean, it's I love the movie Peaceful Warrior, a gymnastics film. It looks like a Disney film. It's kind of like a Disney film. It's not too spiritual, religious, philosophical. There's a little bit of Zen in it. Nick Nolte, Amy Smart, Scott Meklowitz, but a deleted scene. They've been robbed in an alleyway and they're in their undergarments. So like just, an old man wears those tank top shirts and boxers, and they're walking to a bus stop, and he describes death as no more than like a little more uncomfortable than puberty, but not much. And the real thing, and they look at the bus stop, all the people waiting, they're like, the real thing is not getting going on living. And I thought that was one of the best deleted scenes I've never seen except seen. And it's so much fun. But I mean, how many have you asked about how many past lives you've had? And it's not important how many, but everyone's got a colorful, flavorful background.
Yeah, I've had many past lives. And ascending masters are working through me. And they're telling me that, and part of the work now that I do that I was not doing a few years ago is helping people discover their past lives and helping them move into who they're, like what you just asked me, what they're supposed to be doing now in their position, and moving them into creating their life rapidly now, what they're supposed to be doing, and opening up their true abilities and gifts so they get on with it as soon as possible.
Now, I've got 3 angels who are business managers. One of them is Charlotte, who's one of my like top 5 angels. Charlotte's been kicking out past lives to me for the last like 10 years. I don't ask about that stuff. It's not that it doesn't exist, but I find that none of it's going to help you. If I died in childbirth, which I did, with a sock stuffed in my mouth, I'm not sure where that was. That doesn't help me in anything, and it's still interesting. The Mediterranean during World War II, I was a merchant marine guy. I think on the German side, I drowned. I think we got torpedoed. Then a Roman soldier. I was David Fuller in the 1860s, a healer. This one's interesting. Trauma. I would do hands-on legit on someone's head to take the trauma off. And there's more. And I mean, I think I was a gay man in the South in the whenever and shot or hung. And I don't have a fear of guns, so maybe I was hung. But the point of this is, I get given these random ones, and I think it's supposed to be filled in, so I get a little more comfortable on that front as the years go by. With telling people their past lives, you give more detail than that. You explain why. Is there a ripple sometimes for them currently in their current life?
The thing is with the past lives with me is the guides don't like to go on too much about it because they want them to move forward. That's the fifth dimension. They want them to know very small amount about it because they want them to just, the whole thing about the 5D is to find out what you were, but to move on as fast as you can so you can progressively find out who you are now, so you can actively participate in the humanity of service. And the guides that I work with, they want you, so see how my life is now is they push me so fast. So like, as you can see, and whoever comes around me is pushed fast. So like how Alan met me, all of a sudden he has a book deal. So like, it's just, they push people. They want to rapidly help you move out of traumas, help you erase bad third dimensional, if you've been raped or you've had some bad, say your father committed a murder or something happened. Like I do that also. I do a lot of murder cases or abductions and things like that, or kidnapping. So things like that have happened to traumas, they help you eliminate that. And like you were saying, some past lives that were bad for you, they help me help you move through that and move you into the world, the dimensions, because we're multidimensional beings. They want us to move forward
So
as soon as possible.
out of the being the stuck or the stuckness and trapped
Yes.
details, all the
I'm
layers,
like,
the heaviness of the trauma, the PTSD stuff, which is a state of mind, and none of this has to do with this. This is easier than you think for those who are watching Kimberly Meredith on the show right now, because this isn't about thinking. But try telling anyone that who starts with the sentence, my problem is, or I've got 13 kids, or you don't understand my situation. I've had these 6 diseases. I've had these 16 divorces. Plus, I've had this type of flavor, and this is my life story, and I'm sticking to it. And none of the details actually have anything to do with, I mean, they're all our opportunity for growth, but letting go of the details, you help bring in an extra whoosh, extra dimensionality. How about that? To help clean with the broom.
yes, you're perfect for me, because whatever I said, you channeled it, which was awesome. So I'm going to tell you how I do that real quick.
Yes.
So
Please give us the details here.
okay, yeah, the medical mediumship is very clear. They sit down, they're on Zoom or they're in my office, they come in, they bring their family, I look at them, I go through their body, I say, take a deep breath. We go right through their body. I say, this is that, and then I tell them everything that's going on. They'll say, oh, I didn't know that, or I do know that. And then I'll tell them the things I need to recommend them, with supplements and things, or I'll do a healing on them right then and there. And, but as far as the spiritual guidance of where, they'll say, I don't know, who am I? A lot of people don't know who they are, or where am I going, or what am I doing? I will take a deep breath. I'll say, let's sit back, take a deep breath. And just recently at New Living Expo or the Conscious Expo, I was doing this. And this is a gift that just came upon me the last year and a half. And my new book is about some of this stuff. I'll say, take a deep breath, and the guides will come in, and I'll start hearing and seeing numbers. And the angels will come in and they'll say, a frequency. I'll start scribbling with my hand. I'll start going like, I know it sounds like, what the heck? My hand will start going like this. Okay. And then I'll start writing out. I'll go maybe like a 9, 6, 7, 8, like going out like that. Okay. So I'll start writing out in numbers, and the person will be breathing, and it'll be like no more than 3 minutes. I'll go like 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And the person will be breathing. And I just did this recently on a 14-year-old child and a lady. And I'm doing more of these than I thought would happen. And I call them angel guides, soul frequency readings. And I'll say the first number is a 7. The next number is a 6. Next number is like an 8. This is like an example. And they'll say, okay, I'll say the 7 is telling me that something's going on in your life weekly that is not working out for you. And to me, I'll hear the voice will come in that they're not happy with their work or their job, or something is not working out.
Yep.
Next number is either a number that's saying they're sick, or they're going through legal battles, or something is happening legally with them. And I'll hear they're getting a divorce. The voice will come in, they're getting a divorce. So this woman, I said, something with your job's not working. She go, yeah, my job is not working out for me. I need to leave my job. And I just filed for divorce. So I'll go from there. And then, but there's been things where there's been like, recently I broke a murder case, but the numbers will come through, and then the path numbers will come through. So the guides are coming in and doing readings like that, and also moving them into different directions. So if it's fives that all come up like 5 mean the person needs to move completely out of where they're working. So if it's a 7 coming up, 7 means the guides are coming in so strong, saying whatever's going on in their weekly life, they need to immediately change it right away.
I love this. I mean, think of it this way. There's a little more rapidity going on, so that if folks are in a stuck spot in the workplace, you can be unhappy and not know it. Steve Martin, LA Story. If anybody remembers that classic movie, he's like, I was unhappy and I didn't even know it. He's writing in the fog on the window pane, and he's not happy. But that's a huge ding against your flow of energy in life. And you're not meant to be this unhappy for this long. So if you're stuck, a lot of us think it's a good act to hang in there as long as possible and be as miserable as possible, like your pension. You're a municipal worker in some big city and you have to make it to year 25. You're only at 18. You're planning on sticking it out for 7 years and you're miserable.
Yeah. These
not
numbers,
a good idea.
Yeah, these numbers will come in. The first number they write out, then they extend it to other numbers. The murder case that was going on with me, that I got, I found out through the number writing how many times he stabbed the woman.
Oof.
We don't need to get into it.
No.
But I wrote out exactly the number I knew. Anyway, yeah. And
was it county? Was it state? Was it a city police force you were working with?
Yeah.
Some one of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, make a long story short, the guides know everything. And so they particularly know, and they want, through these soul path readings, they hone in. And even with the one at New Living Expo, which was so cool that I did, they have it on film. I'm getting chills. The lawyer, they wrote the number out. They said okay, so the last part of the path reading, I do a whole line, was the number of the lawyer. Then a number 4 comes up. The 4 is called the angel number. 4 is Earth Angel. They knew her lawyer was a 4. So they said there's a 4 here, which is there's a person that's a number 4. So people are 4s. And she goes, oh my God, I finally got a lawyer that's an Earth Angel. He's winning my case. So the 4 came up as her angel, which was the lawyer. So every person has a number to them. So someone will ask me, what is the reading on this new person I'm dating? And I'll read the person's name and get a number for them.
And we're able to explain everything so they get it. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. They'll say, what is this man's number frequency? And I'll blink on it and they'll say, oh my God, that is him to a key. Then I'll say, what is this man? And I'll say, he's a 4. They'll go, he's a police officer. He's of service. So that's his number. They'll say, what about this man? I'll say, that's his number. Oh, that's definitely him.
So which part of your business right now is competing
I love
with the other part?
I love doing these frequency soul numbers. It's
the
fun.
Relationship stuff is a lot more fun for you.
No, I love the medical intuitive too, but I'm really digging the soul frequency numbers.
Oh, I love it. Okay, this is going way off base, but everyone knows the name John of God. Back in the day, he was considered the epitome for, like, remote spiritual surgery and all the rest. And now he's in prison, I think, in Brazil for a bunch of stuff. We'll leave that alone. Do you know if
I don't know much about him because I came around, I think I came around in 2017 is when I started doing my stuff.
Okay.
I didn't go out in the world. I got in my accident 2013, 13, 14, 15 is when I was recuperating in my wheelchair. I didn't start going out to the expos till 2017. I don't know when he went when he had his problems.
Yeah, I think he's had his problems the last like 3, 4, 5 years. But there was a time where people, if you were cooked with cancer and you didn't have anything else, you'd go make the trip to Brazil and hope for the best.
Okay.
So, and he could do stuff remotely. I think Wayne Dyer was one of his patients, and you're told not to move for like half a day, respect it, and so on. So, do you work remotely with some folks? It's the Zoom call, right?
I do a lot of remote healing. Yes, I love
Yeah.
it.
So,
I love it.
and what's the way it works now? If somebody's picking up on this and they're like, "Oh, I've got a relationship thing, or I've got the illness thing," they can go to your website, thehealingtrilogy.com, and they can just, is it a paid consult, or essentially the first hour that you're not giving away any free time anymore? That's over with.
I do 1 hour sessions with people. They can do medical intuitive readings, or when you get to my site, you can pick medical intuitive or spiritual counseling. I also do 75-minute sessions. People love those. I do have something called the Angel Club. People like to join that. That's like a really good discount. My classes, I think, are like only $20.
Yep.
And I give very inexpensive. Yeah. And then I also have classes on the weekends we do. I also have office appointments available. I also do acupuncture. I'm a licensed acupuncturist.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
isn't that a break for you, in the sense that you don't have to use anything up here? You're just
I do the eye blinking for acupuncture, so I see where people really need it, and I love doing cold laser acupuncture for people, and I do healing when I do that too. And this is all I do. And also I do a lot of, with the sessions, I do just expect, if you like prayer, I do a lot of praying. I love praying. So I do chanting and praying, and not just the normal kind of praying. We Om. So I do a lot of oming. Yeah.
words through the heart work, and the more you can flow love, the more you are love, the more you receive love. And we can just say love is pretty much anything you think you want to bring into your life, letting, of course, angels, guides, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, and everybody else do their jobs. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And I do chakra balancing. So when you get to my website, you'll see all these different things that I have. And if you want to do a session with me, you can just check off what you like. But normally people just run right to the medical intuitive medium sessions. And I'm going to be at the first time ever at the Omega Center for a whole week, teaching how to get into the fifth dimension pathway of miracles, healing. I'll do readings there and hands-on healing. They are going to let me do hands-on healing there. And I'm going to be on Coast to Coast in a couple of weeks, I think.
For the 4th time, right?
Fifth dimension.
Fifth time.
Yeah. And I'm going to be doing the soul. I think I'll be doing the soul frequency readings there. Some of those.
I think my host was the Friday night host. I'm sure you've got George Nuri, but I had Connie Willis, if I got the name correct, and she for Coast to Coast. So they had me on for 4 hours. I was not expecting. I'm not the type that does the Q&A very well. I've watched like Michelle Claire, another guest on Angels, Positivity, and Love. I watched her in action when she was back in the day. She was a co-host, I think, a year or two ago on a show, and she was so good at handling people coming on, saying, "Here's my situation," and she would. I mean, she's a psychic intuitive. I'm psychic, but I try to keep it. My whole point in this is everyone should do their own listening, experiencing, feeling. Get some courage on it and get going, because angels will totally engage you and you're good. But having to answer people, I stepped up that night. I heard I did okay. But it's like a 4 million crowd. Yeah, except they warn you to like, hey, you might get 3 to 6 months worth of business. I got 4 bookings out of that whole show. I'm a lot for folks, I think, or it's angels, it's high vibe, unless I've got some childhood thing holding me back. But I don't think that's it. I think it's still unfolding. But I had 3 different people. I think you were one of them, Michelle, and then the host, and I think even a 4th person were warning me, hey, your inbox is going to get flooded. I got like 60 emails and a bunch of other stuff. Other shows will book you, but only 2 showed up, and one of them couldn't show up. It was a paranormal in Pennsylvania. And what I find is angels kind of take care of they're like booking agents or talent agents. Ones that aren't necessarily going to work out, they kind of just help shut them aside a little. So what I heard was, appreciate it all. It was perfect how it was. Don't judge it. It wasn't like what a typical, I think a lot of holistic folks should go on that show and we'll get bookings for months and months and months and they should be ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I thought that was going to happen. So, but
Yeah, I'll be on June 12th.
yeah. And yeah, so June 12th for Coast to Coast, and then Omega is going to be fantastic for you.
Yeah, if people are in New York, that'll be September 10th.
September 10th through the 15th, right?
I'm happy I'm not flying on September 11th.
Yeah, not a good idea.
But September 10th through 15th, and that's going to be just you've been there before, so you know.
Yeah, last summer, Carol Donahoe, the programming director, I've invited her to be on the show. Hopefully I'll hear back. But you should have a fantastic reception there and a lot of fun. And plus, I mean, who wouldn't want to be stepping up unless they're extremely shy? But you should have a lot of flow and a lot of people coming straight up to you. Are you going to have a big audience and then drawing from people, or do you know how the setup's going to be?
I've never been there before, so I don't know, but I'm planning on teaching, my courses on how to get into the fifth dimension. I'm going to be doing meditations, lectures. I'm going to be picking people from the audience to come up and doing readings on them. And I'm going to be I asked them if I could please do the laying on hands healings on people and teaching them how to do it.
Perfect.
So I said it was fine. So
you'll get the lay of the land there, and then can figure out if you're back, you can figure out the setup even more the next time around as well. So because they have different sized places in different setups, it's a little spread out, I guess. It's like a campus.
I wish you were going.
So, well, I loved it. I found that the land was absolutely crazy in a good sense. It was intense. It was incredible. That it kind of, I don't want it to sound this way, but it's going to sound this way. It carried with me for 2 or 3 days this immense amount of peace. So I had already gone back to Texas, and I believe it was a Jewish summer camp originally, if I've used the right lingo. And then the land was purchased for the Omega Institute stuff. And so I don't know if it was Kabbalah or whatever else, but the point is there was a little bit of a extra energy oomph to the land in a good way before Omega, and Omega has carried the torch. And I think there's an organic energy to the place too. I found it very peaceful, very fun, very exciting. So.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
Okay, let's do this. I'm going to blow some sage your way. And we did this before the show. Every guest has done this to date. Not every guest in the future might do it, but. And this is just regular sage out of that Juniper Ridge Whole Foods company, not owned by Whole Foods, but it's where you can purchase it, or at least you could at one point. They've got a great online thing. I think I have it on my website as one of the shop the services. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it's just very consistent is what I'm saying. I love their incense sticks. Okay, I got to blow. That got big again. Whoa, didn't mean to get it that big. Catch the scent sage. Kimberly, can you just tell us, what are you catching?
I'm feeling the angel joy.
And what does she say for your Omega Institute? I think you're going to have a wonderful time. Don't let them overwork you. Like, make sure you go to the lake and look out at the lake.
I just felt that, what you just said.
Yeah, do not, make sure I don't care if you have to have a helper, a handler who says you need to eat. I had a woman buy me a smoothie ahead of time. I was in line. I was admiring this orange colored smoothie. There was only one left, and she bought it for me. Someone must have nudged her. They were like, this kid needs a smoothie. I guess I'm 55. I can't say that anymore, but they bought the smoothie. They said, hey, get him this orange smoothie. Make sure no one else gets it. And they put it on hold for me. I came back and someone had bought it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were adorable. No, I was hearing this an abundant amount of healing there and excitement, and me being very childlike, running around giggling and going crazy, and that I was going to need extra berries and food.
So this is not meant to be a complaint in any way, but in 2018, I had met one of the folks who's no longer there, a booker. She'd booked Deepak Chopra when it was they have the big the big room that can handle, 500, 700, whatever people. You hopefully are in the main room. If you're not this time, next time, make
Probably
sure.
not having that many people.
Okay, but next time, make sure you get that. And so she did great. I heard she had like a Monday appointment. I heard get her done on a Thursday. So she met angels. She got everything done. Her answers, her hugs she saw. It's a lot for people. It stretches your version of reality out. And then we still kept the Monday appointment. We chatted, and she's like, hey, Omega Institute, 2 years in the future, a 25-person workshop, which I'm thinking to myself, I'm still in New York City mode. I'm like, 25 people. I'm like, I don't even know if that could cover the flight. I didn't know they gave you a travel stipend. So that's important for the people who want to be at Omega in the future. They give you a travel stipend. And so I talked to her on a Monday, but it was like an investment banking interview. She had tightened up over the weekend, and I'm not complaining. She is how she is. She did what she did. I got a testimonial from her. I never would have guessed that. And I did a great job. She did a great job. So I'm thankful for the testimonial. She's wonderful.
Nice.
But that time that we talked on the Monday, it wasn't just like a little interview. It was like an investment banking interview from New York. It was so tough. I was getting grilled on social media metrics, all this stuff. And I could not shake it the rest of the day. We got off. She didn't know anything different. She did her job. And I got through it, but I could not shake it. I blew sage. I played ball with my dog. I took 2 showers. Jenny was like, hey, you're still shaken up, because the person was not the same person from Thursday when they were loosey-goosey. They were tighter. And I felt it, and I needed to get that energy off me. She's like, let's go on the trail. We lived in Austin by this park with a beautiful nature trail. Halfway along the trail, I've run thousands of miles on that trail. It's communing with nature. I, for the first time in my life, said, I want to go home. And we had dogs with us. And the famous last words were, let the dogs decide. They turned right, not to home. And they went down the hill. And it was a mile later, I stepped on the littlest rock on the easiest part of the trail. It's a technical trail minus the one part that's like a public park. You could not trip if you tried. I broke my ankle on that little rock. And when I hit the ground, all that energy that had been on me went into the earth, and I let go. Now I turned white as a sheet. Angels said I would run fine a year later. I got a pin in my ankle. I got surgery. I had the best surgeon, who reminded me of Celine Dion. Her staff was the nicest. She met angels. She met Audrey Hepburn later. I wouldn't have changed a thing, except that was a painful experience. And it was the last time I'll ever break a bone over any situation again. But it changed the real estate portfolio. It got us a brand new home 15 miles north later, and it helped rearrange everything. I don't think people have to go through the cancer, the broken bone, or anything else. So how do you recommend folks realize that illness happens? We all have somebody who had breast cancer, heart attack, this, that. How can people avoid having to go to that length of getting forced by the universe? If you want to stick around and you want to get reoriented or aligned better, how can we just not have to go to that extreme to pay attention? How can we slow down in this moment right now, give thanks? And how can we start paying attention better? Is it in Awakening to the Fifth Dimension? Is it a certain chapter?
Yeah. You know, that's a really good question, because I also broke my wrist and my thumb about...
Not over Omega.
Oh, no. But it was at an event.
Oh, wow.
That I did. And unfortunately, I'm glad you shared that story. A very close friend of mine who owned a very huge event center, she died. So she broke her ankle and she passed away. And she owned a very big center called Rama Institute.
Yep.
She is a very good friend of mine.
When you broke your wrist, was it because of so much energy coming your way that it was a way of getting it off of you?
It was the same weekend that she broke her ankle. I broke my wrist.
Wild. So setting boundaries is what that's about, so that you have better boundaries, better flow. You don't have to.
It was a fluke. I was at the Rama Institute in LA, and she was at Rama in I think it was Brazil or something, because there's 3 Ramas. There's one in New York.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think what happened is she had surgery and I did not have surgery. You know, to answer your question about this type of stuff that happens and why we have these things that go on, I'm not quite sure why all of it kind of goes on. You know, it's interesting why these accidents go on and why spirit has these things that kind of, my brother had an accidental death, my 14-year-old brother, and he died young. Um, you know, we're multidimensional beings. We live in this kind of interesting space and time. And sometimes, people will say that that was a lesson, there's something in it. And I think everybody has different lessons that we're supposed to learn and do. I know hers had her own, you have your own. Mine probably had some sort of lesson. When I walked up to the institute that day, um, I did feel an energy. I
Mm.
did feel an energy when I walked up to the institute that day. Come at me.
Oh, okay. And so you might have tripped or whatever with a little extra help. How about that?
I do feel that. I don't know if you felt that for you,
For
but
me, it was oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the part about there were other hikers with loose dogs, and they were little dogs, nothing to be really afraid of, but we had had enough dog encounters, and with the two dogs, I hustled ahead to get ahead of the dogs.
yeah,
And later, the dogs were huddled on my head. I was turning white. Jenny's yelling, "Breathe, breathe, breathe!"
yeah,
Oh, and I skipped the most fun part. And by the way, I got a pin in my leg, but or pin in my ankle.
yeah,
And I'm a runner. Angel said, a year later, 100-mile week, no problem. And it wasn't like I'm a 100-mile week runner, but I did it. A year later, it's as if it never happened. And it changed everything in a great way. So it was an easy game changer across the
yeah,
board. First, to shed stress and to make lots of good stuff happen. But a Mr. Clean figure, I don't, or the Thing from Fantastic Four. If you remember all those superheroes, a big burly guy. I've never seen this guy on this trail. It's a really Northwest Austin trail. He's a state trooper turned lobbyist, and you're still a state trooper in Texas. They call it something else, DPS or Department of Protection Services or something, but it's state trooper. He is like, by law, I can't leave you on this trail. And so luckily, had it been anywhere else on this technical trail, it would be a chopper and a big event with a basket trying to get you out of there. Instead, this guy helps me go the last 25 tennis court distance where, he's setting me down every 2 minutes. And I mean, the odds 1 in a million, it was angels that lined that guy up. He wasn't an angel. He could have been, but he
cool.
wasn't. The
Yeah,
angels lined him up to get me out of there fast. And then the woman who set my ankle, because surgery didn't happen for like a ridiculous 14 days, whatever,
very
ice
lucky that it
storms.
all went
Yeah, the
good.
woman had hospital experience, and the setting is almost as important as the surgery. The way she said it, it stayed so secure. I didn't suffer any ligament damage, nothing. And
Great.
yeah, I mean, and I'm not kidding when I said my surgeon. I would tell people to break their ankle to have the surgeon I had in Austin, Texas. She's fun, gorgeous, radiant. Celine Dion is the best way I know how to describe her. Such a good
Yeah,
G field
you're
healer.
fortunate because the lady that I loved and adored, her surgery did not go well and she crossed over. My surgery, I mean, I did not have surgery on my wrist and I broke it. And I actually had a cast, but I put mine back together with my cold laser. I put the whole wrist and thumb back together with my laser machine. But to answer your question real quick about the fifth dimension and why things happen, everybody has their own, their own situation that goes on. And yeah, so it just, we don't know.
But that's what helps us have extra flavor. I mean, it's ebb and flow, and you almost have to have a certain amount of ebb to grow your foundation, to grow your awareness, to then propel you forward into a lot of flow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
My
balance.
my accident that day, I felt there was another kind of energy that pushed me. Yeah.
I don't talk about negativity too much. I mean, I've seen it a few
Yeah.
times. I've had one example or two examples of
We
people.
could get into a whole other show
Yeah,
on.
and it's the back to where you put your focus is where you put your focus. It's where you flow
And
your.
I do talk about that in the book. I do
Yeah,
talk about the negative and the light. There's a whole chapter on it in here about awakening your superpowers. And we can't, we can't get away from understanding that there is the Holy Spirit and there is, unfortunately, we live in a world where there is dark energy and there's dark energy wherever we go. There's dark energy living upon us. Of course, we must understand that there's the Holy Spirit and there's the dark energy. And I talk about Yoda. I talk about, I love Star Wars, and I reference Star Wars in here. And we have to understand there's both sides. And that's why it's important to every day do 5 minutes in the morning of meditation, 5 minutes in the morning of doing our gratitudes. But can we stop these things that happen? Not always. But the thing, when you're talking about your story about the surgeon that came in, she was blessed with the Holy Spirit. They kept saying 888, 888. Every time you were talking about your story, they had the numbers eights rolling around you and a crown of the Holy Spirit around you. So thank God you were blessed with
Oh,
this beautiful person. So
everything went so smooth.
yeah, I'm
It
getting
was crazy.
chills. I'm
Yeah.
getting chills. So does that mean that other people aren't? Not necessarily. Everybody has a time to live and a time to die. And we have to take responsibility for who we are and what we do, and how we live our lives. So we just have to live in gratitude and understand that this is important in our lives, that we do these things, and understand that in the awakening to the fifth dimension, there's these amazing tips and tools. And knowing that, I think it's important to always breathe, live in this. Well, I've opened up, it's really funny. I opened up to the 12th dimensional bubble to put around you.
Do it.
Yeah, put the shield around you. Put the
So
shield
anytime
around you, guys.
anybody can just breathe, slow down, get to your porch, get to your balcony, sit on your couch, look at a picture of a flower, the clouds. It's unbelievable, the millions of variations of going full stop, even for 3 minutes. If you have to set the microwave timer, I'm pointing at my kitchen over here.
Yeah.
Set the microwave timer, set an Apple iPhone watch thing, do whatever. But it's just the act of setting a certain little amount of time. Go for a walk. Anything counts. Shower. Take an extra shower. That counts.
That's the fifth dimension, doing those types of tools.
Yeah, they'll reach you the rest of the way. You only have to start a little bit, and they'll finish the job of connecting.
Aligning your vibration with fifth dimensional tools, like going for daily walks, eating right, and they're all in my book. I talk about them. Doing these daily exercises are so important. Listening to music, going to bed at night. I don't know if you listen to 432 Hertz. I have my calming app on all the time. It's so important. I don't know if you believe in that. Having good crystals around you, good vibrational friends, people that are supportive of you, not jealous. You want to make sure you always have a good team, support team. It's very important. If you feel a very low vibrational vibe, get away from it. You don't need it.
That was the advice I was given for never do meetings that you're not going to be just jumping around about. You should be excited about the people you're interacting with. Don't just do a meeting ever to just get through the meeting or check a box. Don't settle. It's okay to be setting up your boundaries in a way that you're only accepting the highest intent, highest vibe, highest form of love and compassion, and give it a little bit of time, at least a couple of weeks for your universe to respond. But if you can spend 2 minutes here, 10 minutes there, focusing on that, you don't need to know what it looks like. And I think Kimberly's about to tell us exactly that. Isn't the universe here to fill in the how and the why and the making it all happen? And you just need to be like, hey, I'm ready.
Exactly. And when you're struggling in a relationship or work, like a publicist or an agent or publishers, or a relationship, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, and it's really hard, let it go. Let it go. And I feel like daily journaling is really important to get out of your head and put it on paper. I have 3 journals: a morning, I have an afternoon, I have an evening, I have one for work, and I have one to God. You know, people are going to let you down. That's just how it is. They switch on you. But know that the angels, the guides, and God, they're always here for you. They're always here for you. They're never going to let you down. Some people need personal coaches like Michael and Kimberly. We have your back. people that love you and are here for you, and there's other coaches for you. So sometimes people need that extra help. They need that stability. And so what I'm saying to people out there is that this is a rough time right now. In the next 2 years, it's going to be even harder for people. And a lot of people, a lot of children right now, especially, are having difficult times. So it's not that you're feeling less if you need that extra help. That's all. What do you feel about that, Michael?
I think that yes, humans ebb and flow so much that you could view it as being let down, but don't view it that way. The time you had, whether it was 12 years or 2 weeks or just one encounter, was perfect how it was, because if you flip the script and look at all the unconditional love beings, the light beings, angels, guides, your loved ones, think of it from their perspective. There's a John who's an angel who's synchronicity. Think about how many angels get involved to work in our dimension to orchestrate just that chance encounter, or that 10 minutes you spent with a person that helped subconsciously. It shows up 2 years later or in the moment. I run into Kimberly for the first time at a coffee shop, and she gives me the best advice. I never see her again, but that advice was exactly what I needed to hear at the right time, right place. And think about her angel team, my angel team, and they convinced me to get the cup of coffee that day to show up at the. So my whole point on everything is, the more you can just, it's like an old World War II submarine movie or a Titanic, not Titanic, a cruise ship. Just go to neutral and glide for a little bit. Shut the thinking off, see what happens. Trust that the universe has so much more going on. See what you can feel and observe. But if you wanted to stick to neutral, or you can go to the heart the whole way and start connecting, that's where a lot of magic happens. And if it's not the word magic, then a lot of love.
I'm saying, if you're sad or depressed or confused, to reach out to people, reach out. There's places. So if you don't have any funds, always reach out and get help. Definitely.
I love it. Okay. How about meeting an angel named Joy? We've already met her before, but for the audience, this is that Joy is the ambassador, communicator, and angel who's the emotion joy. She's joy. And what does she have for all of us? And if you can, for yourself personally, just get a couple hugs and get either a floral, a beach smell, or both. Hawaii plus hibiscus.
I'm getting rose.
Perfect. And what was that like for you? I mean, I know you've met Joy before and you hang out with Joy. What was that like for you, so the audience can hear it? And then what did she give you for us?
She's giving me, for everybody, a lot of love from the Virgin Mary and comfort and healing for everybody. She's sending compassion, kindness, and sweetness, and caring and healing in the heart, and love.
Now I'm going to do the Irish version of the Virgin Mary. I think I got that right. I'll give the old school version.
Yay. Thank you.
Everybody I've met from Ireland, -2, have to have it this way, so it's just more appropriate. What do you have for Mary? I describe her as rainbow light, tight with angels.
Yes. I'm having an event this Saturday that's completely free for everybody. We have them all the time. We have the Virgin Mary events that are free. And the Virgin Mary is here right now more than ever to help the suffering and to help heal people. When you invite her into your surroundings in your heart, she can miraculously heal your mind, body, and spirit.
Beautiful. And I remember the 3 Native American chiefs that were the first 3 that came in, that have been with me since I was little when my dad died. They said, she's love, she's everything we need to know. If we had her faith and trust, there'd be no more need for fear or worry. There's not a lot to remember, but I remember that much. There were good quotes, beautiful epithets or descriptions. But here's the modern version. I actually forgot about this photo for about 1.5 years, and now it's back in the repertoire for folks. But so Mary again, but a modern version. If you could let her eyes, it's a historical photo, not of her, but of someone else. But it could be her. Let her eyes come totally alive. And if you personally, Kimberly, but the audience can do this as well. Let a little rainbow light come in. If you're shy at all out there, sparkles, like glitter, women's glitter, the mascara, what's it called? Cosmetics, like a Macy's counter, and a fan caught it and blew it into the air. So a little bit of rainbow glitter if you're shy, but if you're gutsy and you've watched Kimberly and it's resonating and you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling her. You can see rainbow light either for you, Kimberly, you can see it around you, you can feel it go through you, but here she is, Mary, the other way.
Oh yeah, I love that picture.
And
Wow,
I love it. For me, it's just so, oh,
beautiful.
anyone who wants to look in the palm of their hand, she's put rainbow light there, and it's a reminder to all of us for humanity that more love, compassion is available now. And if you could use words, I know that's not the best right this second when you're in the flow, but can you share with us what you're going through and what's Mary got for us all that you're hearing right now?
I'm hearing, gosh, I'm hearing the feminine divine love. I'm hearing I'm just hearing like the feminine divine love, the holy water presence of her heart, embracing her energy over us, the sorrows of Mary, crying over losing her son, but then awakening her presence to help us awaken the gifts of all of us and her miracles, the miracles that she performs daily for all of us right now, and that how much she wants us to embrace her, that she is really presently here right now and wants us to be calling upon her more.
Can we, I don't know if I'm using this expression right. I always get everything wrong. So, but it's okay. Jumping the shark, is that jumping ahead? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Let's jump ahead for 2 seconds. Is there a chance you're game for this and just say no and or do it or allow for it? But Joy and Mary, any chance if I slide over, you can see Joy is and I said 28-year-old blonde last year at a Meg Institute, and they saw brunette, of course, two people. But Sierra's a blonde brunette, whichever way she's dressed, with or without wings. But you can see Mary next to her. And allow. If you need an extra embrace of ocean, love, compassion, rainbow light, and I skipped something, floral.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And then if you don't mind getting such a vibe that you go, oh my goodness, and share something else, not to suggest anything. This is why I'm taping in a new location today. For the show, I normally do my office, and I knew Kimberly would have a wonderful time with the extra space.
They just keep giving me the infinity sign, which is a soul connection.
Ooh, I love it. And I have to show Kimberly's artwork for 2 seconds for her future, for this show appearance.
Oh, how pretty.
Episode
Oh,
27, July 23rd. And then
beautiful.
and I had to do one more. I designed a logo that is coming up in 1 second. I didn't plan on showing this, so I didn't have it up, but you're going to give me 1 second here, everybody. But back to the Infinity logo. Oh, this is the black and white version here.
Oh my God. Oh, how beautiful.
I use that logo for my second YouTube channel. I launched two little ones on top of it at Michael Andre Ford. There's 24/7 Angel Wisdom, and then there's Angels Positivity Love, which is supposed to be the original show channel, but everything's at Michael Andre Ford. With your permission, another angel, Charlotte, you've met her before. She's a teacher, and if anyone needs a reminder, you've met her before. She's your favorite teacher, or from
Yes,
first grade, third form. Yeah, what do you get from her, or what are you getting from her?
From Charlotte, I get constant fluttering of my eyes saying, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit. So she's connected to the Holy Spirit on a very high level, ascending master teacher. She's the Holy Spirit master teacher. They're also blinking the number 10. So 8 and 10, meaning she's to help the world the next 10 years. They're blinking.
And then I've got Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael, they're blinking number 7. They're saying he's around 7 days a week with you.
Ooh, okay.
They're saying 777. So they're going over and over again about him.
My last check-in, I think it was last night, 2 nights ago. Instead of a lot of business steps, it was fun and sun. It was garden, where are the flowers, run more, relax. I've been hearing this for 7, 11, 12 years now. Half the time,
Yeah.
Sylvia Brown would be hammering me. I'm going to forget, of course, the one thing she said 1,000 times. Oh, the big yes is coming. Patience, let everything's unfolding as it is perfectly. They're gonna, give me a path in the back of the head if I get off track. But it's what you said earlier about running into folks, and it's not forever, or they might not behave the way you expected 2 months later. But for a month, it was the most stable interaction ever, and you get what you need out of it. It's too easy to be black and white and judgmental up here instead of appreciating what the actual moment was supposed to be about, orchestrated divinely. I think I actually hit some words today on that one.
Yes,
yeah,
did.
that was okay. Okay, I've got 4 archangels for you. I cropped it. There's 3 more off camera. And again, to show you not how slow I am, I'm amazing. I'm going to compliment myself on the record right now, like Kimberly was talking about owning her own skills. But because the names were Zadkiel, Shamiel, and Jophiel, it took me an extra 1.5 years to learn the names. I was a little shy about it. Here's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel.
Yes, that's a good angel.
Yeah, get what you can get from it, or if you don't mind getting extra personal fluff, as Joan of Angels would say, have them fluff your wings, or extra love, just to say thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing everything with us. Now, what are you getting from, it's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. I have an envelope over here where I have a cheat sheet in the order. And let me think. The highest one up is Raphael. The solo one next to Raphael right here is Michael. And then the first one on the other end is Uriel and then Gabriel. So Uriel, Gabriel. But I never say that. I can never remember the order. And that's the first time on the record sharing.
Yeah, I get a lot of really high vibe energy from them.
Okay, what do you got for us?
I got just a lot of 4444s, just high vibrational angels coming at me in my eyes. Deeply vibrating high. They're like blinding my eyes.
Oh, I'm going to show you all the archangels in a different photo in just a second. But I did want to mention maybe 30 times in the last 10 years, maybe 4 times a year. I don't really keep track. It's not a medical condition, but I'll get rainbow light pyramids or geometrical shapes flashing on my eyes where it almost forces me to slow down because you can't do a lot else. If I was in the middle of playing, I didn't say this out loud, but a video game, there's no way you're going to do well because you've got to slow down. It's geometrical or something patterning. Is there a way you could describe that better? Here's archangels to do the explaining if you need them. And that's coming out really rigid. Usually it's a little more flowing and bright. I'm on an iPhone.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that was over my house. I don't know why I stepped out that day to shoot the photo. It's one of those, you can't explain it.
Very cool. They look like orbs.
Exactly. Did you get anything from that one that you want to share out loud? And here's hopefully a better photo. That should be smoother. iPad.
They're basically just saying 444 like angels to me.
Okay.
Not getting much more, but they are angels.
Okay, well, let's do just a couple more. How about Mother Teresa? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's Mother Teresa, and she's got a fantastic laugh.
So Mother Teresa, if you want me to do a reading on her.
Just what, yeah, what does she want to share?
Mother Teresa is saying to me, I can read people that have crossed over. She was a soul frequency. She's died. She's had many lives before. She's a number 8, meaning she's reincarnating. And yeah, they're confirming she's reincarnating.
Oh, wow.
She's a number 8. She's a sideways infinity sign, number 8. She's also went straight to the light. If you held it up longer, I could tell you what she died of. I don't know if you know what she died of.
I don't, here.
She's also telling me, oh wow, she had a lot of problems with her teeth. She went, it says something about her heart. But she's also saying to me, oh wow, a really, really, well, of course we know how much she loved the Holy Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit's all around her, top of her head. It's interesting you pulled her up. She's saying to me, Kimberly, I have reincarnated. Okay, I've seen enough. She did die of something of the heart. It went through her heart, I think, stroke or something.
Okay.
And also they're telling me something about the lower gut area.
Yeah, we don't have any call-ins on this one, so there's no medical intuitive stuff you can do for a person now. But between your
She's
free,
gone.
yeah, you've got your angel offerings, your medical intuitive offerings, and your website is thehealingtrilogy.com. That's with the word
Yeah.
healingtrilogy.com. Here's one more angel for you, Claire, who's resilience.
Okay.
And what do you have for us from Claire?
Oh my God. I just had to look up what she died of. I just had to because I didn't know. She did die of a cardiac arrest. I was right. I know what dead people die of. That's not funny.
For me, I usually stay out of all that unless it's the show and we're actually talking about it.
I know, but it was
into.
weird how she wanted to come in just now. Mother Teresa was with us just now.
That's funny. Here's Claire again, another way. If I try to put the purple dot, you can see Joy, the pink, right there. And then Claire is this purple dot right there.
Oh my God. Now you're not going to believe what Claire is saying. We could do a whole show on what angels say from the other side. Claire is saying she's also reincarnating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here's Claire. And my belief is, I mean, I know Charlotte did a stint as a human.
Wait a minute. Claire was an angel reincarnated. Claire is saying 8-8.
There's no one way about anything is how I'd put it, so that there's a constant expansion and growth. And as a result, there's no way I'm ever going to grasp it all. I did have one more angel. I'm going to do my guardian angel if it's okay. She's a white ball of light. On the book cover, it's Charlotte and her metallic balls of light. And I'll try to find that in 2 seconds. So forgive me for this, but one more searching. Here
Michael, excuse me for a minute. Did you have a near-death experience?
It would have been in the surf in Nantucket. I don't call it that because how do I do this? I almost died, but I didn't have any place that I went to. I saw stars. My board hit the bottom. My head hit the bottom. And my dad rescued me with angel help. My dad's passed over. And it wasn't my time to go. But it was in really shallow water. Like I rode the wave all the way in. Everything disappeared down below. And I got plunked down, hit my head. And I mean, I was literally 2 feet from shore. Saw stars. And I got, I had 3 accidents that week. I did too many pull-ups on a rafter in Nantucket, hurt my shoulder, thoracic nerve got cut. I got I woke up stuck upside down, twin bed against a wall, shoulder again. And then that was a shoulder head injury on the beach. So it killed my thoracic nerve. It's like breaking the ankle. There's little moments in life they got to do a reset. It doesn't have to be physical. It could be you lose your job, a relationship. She packed up and left you. But I'm kidding. Okay.
The
Here's,
whole time I've been on, the reason I ask is because I
yeah.
keep seeing an aura around the top of you, and it keeps telling me you had a near-death experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said that on a show for the first time, owned it out loud, and then I thought about it on a car ride the other day. I'm like, wow, I hope I didn't just upset the near-death experience community, because I don't have anything to recount except I saw some stars. And maybe that was, losing both parents was something. I'll put their photo up next. Here's
Okay.
here's Min, the white ball of light, and Charlotte, the blue, and metallic light form energy. That's my guardian angel, the higher up one. And Charlotte, we just met, is the other one who's one of my business managers, top angels. On my last breath, she carries me over. Supposedly, I die in my sleep.
Okay, beautiful.
And here's
Yeah.
Min another way. Pacific Princess, light waves of energy and water. And anyone who goes to my website can see it as two overlapping pure white balls of light, but it doesn't matter how you see the photo. What does
Yeah.
Min have as a reminder for us all?
That I have about us staying in the fifth dimension. That's a very fifth dimensional frequency. They're saying 555.
Water.
Yep. 5. Right away, 5. Thank you.
And here's my mom and dad. Barb and Mike Sr., he died in 1970. She died when I was turning 23 in 92. It was her time to go, his time to go. Hundreds of people have seen him in their 20s. She was an artist. He was a Navy fighter pilot who died off of Italy. And 27 years later, they put him into Arlington Cemetery, and they shut down all the airports, did a flyover. He was front page of the Washington Post above the fold in like 1997.
So they are both, if you want to know what they're saying,
Yeah.
they're both around you every day.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
saying, around you, we're around you, we're watching over you.
And they said last night or the night before, they were like, keep following your good, positive nature. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, exactly. Kimberly, what else would you like to share with us? We will wrap it up shortly. But how about one more? This is not IONS or Dr. Shealy, but here's a regular lighter, and you can see any color that you want. White, yellow, gold. What do you see?
Okay, I see orange.
Okay, orange, perfect. Can you ask your favorite angels, Joy, and have her add some pink light or purple, Claire, purple, blue for Charlotte, or just whoever comes in, Mary, rainbow light. I'll do it again, but ask your crew or whoever's game to come in. Fairies might add sparkles all over the place and sabotage the whole experiment.
Okay, we're going to ask Claire to come in.
I'll do this. Okay, now.
Purple.
Good, you're seeing purple. So anybody at home, play it over again. Take a deep breath, go put your hands in water. There's 1,000,000 ways to go to here. Just ask Holy Spirit, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, angels, your guides, your loved ones. Yeah, to get you here, out of your thinking, into your heart. My only piece of structure is angels. Get me out of my head, into my heart, make it nice. Amen, rock and roll. Thank you. Own it.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai. Removing all fear and going into our hearts. May we be healed.
And one more, Gabriel. It's what you said earlier. I'm in the fifth dimension. Angels, make sure it's great. And own it with a sign off that's you.
Yeah. We know by the power of our consciousness, we can be healed. We're in the fifth dimension.
Where everything is flexible.
Yeah, that we know we can be healed. We're living in this light, beautiful, loving energy. We are in this light, cosmic light field energy.
And of course, I'm the guy who is notorious for this. If I'm trying to sign off with someone 5 times for the same sign off, because how could you not want to connect with Audrey Hepburn for 2 seconds, another angel? And here's Audrey.
And I have connected with her.
Yeah, and well, I'll leave it at that. Could you get a big compliment from Audrey? And then something you can share with all of us. If it's the compliment, that'd be great too.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you want to see little balls of light or anything else around you, a final cherry on the sundae here. You've done fantastic for us for talking to us about your life experiences, talking about how you help others. You've clearly been dedicating yourself, and I know we all should be thanking you for helping us so much. And the more help that's coming, I'm losing my English here. You're about to help us even further, not just this book, but the other stuff in the future, just helping us calm down about it and to allow for it and to ask for it to come in and to assist in any way we need.
Yes. So, you want me to say something to end the
Yeah, how about a final last Kimberly Meredith here, just reminding us that it's far simpler than anything we think it is.
I feel that the Holy Spirit is a deep heart connection, and that when we tap into the energy of love, which is God, that we all can immediately bring in our own healing miracle, and that it seems difficult, but it's very easy. And me, myself, have had so many different challenges throughout my life. I've been diagnosed with many different types of diseases and illnesses and lost my life twice. I've seen so many people have so many different types of diseases because of the type of practice that I have. Been healed through the Holy Spirit, the omnipresent, that I can only say, and so many people have had such bad living conditions. I can only say this is real. This is so real that I am so excited about our future, and that I just want people to know that the awakening is real, and that by tapping into the divine, the feminine divine, and the fifth dimension, to love our brothers and sisters and never judge anybody or judge the omnipresent, and witnessing more miracles every day helps you to awaken. So I'm going to sign off by saying, love, 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 love. Just keep loving. Just keep loving yourself and loving others. Namaste.
Mary said something, I'll add a little quick thing. Mary said something, love is everywhere. I would say she said love is a constant, but I don't think she said that. Love is everywhere. Open your eyes to see love. And she didn't mean open your eyes like this. She just meant open your eyes, meaning, see with all of you anytime you wish, which good luck with that. You got bills to pay. You know what you know. You're judging all the time, and it's never going to quite go away the whole way. But the second you let go of it being a task, like a New Year's Eve resolution, or you got to mop the floor, which you put off for 2 weeks, or mow the lawn, which you put off for a week, you can't put that off too long. The second you just take it out of here, out of the hopper up here, and just do it. Put your hand in some water, dance to your favorite high vibe song, pet the dog, give a kiss, get a lick, and you're like, oh, I got a lick, and that's a big lick, big dog, and you're caught off guard. The dog snuck a lick in. That is the moment of living. Like, life is all the little charms. And I'm borrowing from that black and white movie. I gave a whole website page on my website. Lucky Partners. I think it's a Guardian Angel movie. It came out 4 years before It's a Wonderful Life. It's my favorite Guardian Angel movie. I think it's least discovered, and it's absolutely a gorgeous film. So Kimberly Meredith, thehealingtrilogy.com. You've got some events, expos coming up, but the big thing, Omega Institute, September 10th to the 15th. People can absolutely check that out. I've forgotten the Omega Institute's website, but you can't miss them. They've had like 3,000 or 5,000 amazing experts over time. Thich Nhat Hanh, Ram Dass when he was alive, and when Thich Nhat Hanh was alive, come to speak. So it's a real global spot. It's I think it's from the spring to the fall, because they don't do the winter. But what a beautiful campus, Rhinebeck, New York, about an hour from West Point, just north of New York City by about an hour. And what got me was the trees. Holy cow. I forgot how tall New England trees can be. You're gonna feel like you went to a different place. It's gonna be fun for you.
Yes, expect miracles, because that's what I like to do. I like people to experience miracles. So expect miracles. This is what we have to create and experience, is miracles.
Well, thank you again, Kimberly Meredith. And a final thanks to Alan Steinfeld for introducing us. Thank you for being such a good sport, for the seeing, for the hearing, for the sharing. Colorful journey. People should be looking forward to awakening to the fifth dimension. Thanks again. This is Angels, Positivity, and Love. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Michael.